Now, since assuming office on May 29, 2023, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has pursued an ambitious reform agenda under Renewed Hope Agenda program. His administration inherited significant economic and security challenges, including high public debt, fuel subsidy costs, foreign exchange instability, inflation, unemployment, and insecurity. Now, 3 years into the administration, opinions remain sharply divided. The administration argues that difficult policy choices were necessary to stabilize Nigeria's economy and lay the groundwork for long-term growth. At the same time, many Nigerians continue to experience hardship, making the practical impact of these reforms a central issue in the national discourse. As Nigeria moves towards the 2027 general elections, public evaluation of Tinubu's administration is likely to focus on whether improvements in macro indicators are matched by tangible gains in employment, security, affordability, and overall quality of life. Well, these are some of the issues we are trying to even x-ray tonight. So tonight on Korero, we will look at the state of the nation under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's 3 years in government. And I'm joined by a political analyst who will help us put these issues in a perspective tonight, and will be helping us look at all of the angles to this story. Of course, I'm joined by Honorable Adamu Muhammad Abdullahi. Honorable Abdullahi Mohammed Adamu, it's a delight to have you join me on Korero. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening once again.
All right, so let's even start the conversation by first looking at the very interesting arguments right now across board, which this, of course, is from the basic for the conversation. What do you make of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu amidst all the arguments saying that President Bola Tinubu is the worst president so far in Nigeria compared to his predecessors, who were able to manage a subsidy regime and were still able to manage Nigeria? Now, subsidy is gone totally, but Nigerians are still feeling the brunt of, despite the fact that subsidy has been removed. Help us understand even what do you make of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration as a basic for the conversation.
Yeah, good evening once again. As earlier mentioned, issue of fuel subsidy. Since from the initial stage, from assumption of President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, with removal of fuel subsidy, you can see he has hit the ground running with large infrastructural developments, which nobody can deny the fact President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not trying in infrastructural development, both in the north and in the south. If I might cite example for you, President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu has funded capital projects, highways, both in the north and in the south, which all are done with around the cycle of the fuel subsidy removal. So, with removal of fuel subsidy, as Nigerians do not understand what that means, it's a step up for Nigerians to get good infrastructural development, get so many things, while these resources are being channeled, are being utilized well, properly, to develop so many things. If you will look at Abuja, for example, look at the 8 years of back, and look at the 3 years of President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. All the look and crannies of Abuja is it's having a rehabilitated and also new roads, access roads, new roads, good infrastructural development. So this removal of subsidy is not about hardship. All who are talking of hardship is all politics. If you have something doing before, or even before assumption of President Asuwaji Bola Tinubu, you will not be complaining of hardship, because he has not stopped your business is still running. So I see no reason why someone will say with the removal of fuel subsidy, things have been harsh. While this money that had been, this fuel subsidy that has been removed is seen on ground. President Asuaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not putting this money in his pocket.
Honorable Adamu, let's even, before we get into the reality of what the impact of the first subsidy, let's talk about President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration in terms of his ministers. Right now, it is very disturbing that approximately just 4 ministers are performing ministers, despite the fact we have approximately about 45 to 48 ministers, serving ministers. 4 ministers tend to be outstanding when it has to do with performance. Now, President Bola Tinubu has been able to expand his cabinet to embrace a lot of a developmental stride and promising Nigerians that if we go this route, the country will see light at the end of the tunnel. But right now we have 48 ministers and only 4 are performing. And it brings us to that point where we begin to ask, if we judge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration by his ministerial appointments, can we say that he has failed Nigerians?
You cannot. Who are the 4 ministers that are performing?
Oh, you want me to mention them?
Yeah, you should.
All right, so let's start with Barrister Yesom Wike. Let's take it to also Umari. Let's take it to Olubumi Ojo, the Minister of Interior. Then we now say every other minister, which forms the 4 ministers.
Every other minister.
No, let's even look at the other minister.
You forgot to mention General Christopher Musa, which
you will agree with me that so far in Nigeria, new insurgent group are springing forth. So we cannot really say that Christopher Musa has been a performing minister in the last couple of months.
Yeah, he's a performing minister.
We can't really say. Let me come. So let's go by that narrative. If we were to judge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if you want to even mention Christopher Musa, let's go by the statistics again. Looking at the number of kidnappings going on across the country, looking at the number of raids going on, should we start from Ekiti? Or we should travel down to Kwara or your state, taking it down to Borno, which has an unending insurgency, taking it back to Taraba, taking it to, even recently we have incidents around the whole axis of Kebbi and a few other states within the northern zone of Nigeria. That's the geopolitical zone. Now, looking at all of this and judging by the ministers that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in a scale of 1 to 10, where will you place him? And again, can Nigerian judge President Bola Ahmed Tinubu at this point as a failure, despite based on ministerial appointments?
Yeah, if you are to ask of my view,
please go ahead.
If you are to ask of my view, I will rank Mr. President Asuaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu as 100%.
4 out of 48.
4 out of 48 ministers. That's what you said.
Yes.
But I know more than 4 ministers which are performing.
Let's get them.
And again,
please, can you name the ministers that are performing?
Let me come again.
No, you said you know more than 4 ministers that are performing. Please help us understand those ministers that are performing.
There are areas there. There are areas.
Help us. No, you can. When you ask for evidence to support my assertion that ministers were not performing, I mentioned 3 ministers and I said the rest so as to accommodate other ministers. And you added Christopher Musa, who has not spent 3 years in office. Now let's go by that narrative. How many ministers are performing in your own radar?
Yeah, in my own radar, you know, government has so many aspects, and everybody plays his role. No,
let's get the names of the ministers.
Let me come before I mention them.
Let's get the ministers.
Let me call.
Probably will not have the luxury of time. Please go ahead. Go ahead.
If I could say, Mr. Asuaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu has a deliveries center unit, which is headed by Hadiza Bala Usman, which her duty and role is to checkmate what all these ministers are doing and report directly to the president. Let me tell you one thing. Of recent, before the primary election of APC, you can see some ministers have been sacked due to poor performance and some leave to contest. So if you say that all the 48 ministers of Asuaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, 4 out of them are performing, you cannot say 4 out of them are performing. Like Minister of Finance, Minister of Health, go and see massive development.
Minister of Finance, is it the past Minister of Finance or the present Minister of Finance?
The past Minister of Finance.
Okay, he performed and he was removed.
Yeah,
and he decided to resign.
Yeah, he decided to resign. He did not remove. He was not removed. He resigned, which is personal benefit.
Yeah, and he decided to resign.
You cannot mention.
So you've mentioned
you cannot mention. You cannot pass Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration without mentioning Minister of Health, Professor Ali Pati.
Oh.
If you can see the massive advancement he brought to the health sector, you will be surprised. Which dialysis? Let's start from dialysis from health sector. Dialysis before was huge amount of money, and now go back to any teaching hospital. Ask of how much is dialysis now. People are suffering. Massive buildings of primary health care all over Nigeria. So there are so many aspects. Maybe if maybe the people are criticizing Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu government, people don't want Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu personally, they don't like him, they should come out and say they don't like him. But you cannot deny the fact Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is really trying. In terms of security, let me come back. General Christopher Musa, in terms of security, Christopher Musa has linked so many international partnership in order to cut all this sort of insecurities. And thank God he's achieving them slowly and gradually. Christopher Musa is a single man. You don't expect him one day to come up with change. But change is a gradual process. And Christopher Musa is trying that gradual process. And he's performing very well because he gives rapid response to insurgency. Everywhere, if there is insurgency, he gives his rapid response due to his intellectual capacity and where he comes from. So if we are to say Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu cabinet, you know, Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not like any other. He's a vast experienced somebody that believes in intellectual capacity. In the first place, he will not appoint you without knowing your intellectual capacity. So what we are saying here is Mr. President is really trying. And you have mentioned yourself, the major basis of government is infrastructure, health, security, and other related. And thank God you mentioned yourself that David Umahi, the Minister of Works, is really trying. If you go back to works and housing, there are massive projects going on the Federal Mortgage Bank. So many projects. So if we are to mention, we cannot mention all his achievements. But thank God now we are in an era of the election. We will start to come out with them, tell people what Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done.
Well, since I was waiting, I patiently waited to get at least 48 or perhaps 44, since we have already mentioned about, you mentioned, I mentioned 3, you mentioned 1.
Yeah.
I was waiting we get to that point where we begin to mention and add the remaining 44.
Yeah.
But I got to hear just 2 out of the 4.
Yeah,
so which means
mention
at this point, can we say that both of us are on the same page?
Yeah, we are not on the same page because
we can pinpoint the number of ministers that are performing right now.
We are not on the same page.
You even mentioned Ali Pate going across the country and primary healthcare, looking at Nigerian healthcare tourism. We know how many billions of naira Nigerians lose every year on medical tourism on its own, because Nigeria is yet to even set the central stage for competing with other countries on interbound and also other medical form of tourism. You've mentioned Ali Pate. I don't want to take it up on Ali Pate, but let's give you the benefit of the conversation by allowing you to go ahead with mentioning other ministers that have performed outrageously under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So if Nigerians are to judge the president by this minister's performance, what would be the scorecard for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu based on his appointments? Can we say if 6 out of 48, should we give him a pass mark? As you said, 100%. If we're to judge him by the ministers, what is your scorecard for Mr. President?
What we are saying,
let's go by the scorecard.
Yeah. What if we are to go by the scorecard?
Let's call. Let's go by the ministerial appointment. You call the names of the ministers and give them their scores.
What we are saying.
You've mentioned 2.
Yeah.
So we're waiting for orders.
Yeah. What we are saying is, I cannot come and sit down here and be mentioned.
No, you have the luxury of time right now to. No, you mentioned two, so let's have more.
Yeah.
Perhaps we can say the Minister of Power. Of course, we can say right now the Minister of Mines and Steel, the Minister of Aerospace Technology, Festus Keyamo. We can say the Minister. No, give us instances of some of these ministers. Let's know
every ministry, their performance. Let me come. In every ministry,
if Nigerians are to judge the administration by the ministerial appointments, again, what will be the scorecard? Be fair to Nigerians at this point, Honorable Adamu.
Yeah. If we are to be fair to Nigerians and to be fair to Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
No, Asuwaju Bola may come secondary in this conversation. Let's be fair.
But you have to. You cannot exempt Asuwaju Bola Ahmed.
Nigerians will be the ones to judge.
If I'm to judge for Nigerians,
if you are to convince an average Nigerian, and the question is being posed to you, Honorable Adamu Abdullahi, you said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done magnificently well for the country. Let's place this by the ministerial appointments. What will be your scorecard on the various ministries, agencies, and parastatals of government? 800 ministries, parastatals, and agencies of government. This administration has made significant appointments, tangible appointments. If we were to judge by the appointments, what will be your scorecard for this administration?
And that's what I will still repeat what I said before.
So it means that you don't have a scorecard for this administration.
What I'm saying, the scorecard of this administration is 100%. And I still
despite the fact that you cannot name any minister that is performing.
You refuse to allow me to tell you.
I'm allowing you to.
Why? Because
I sincerely apologize. Let's hear the ministers. I sincerely apologize.
In every ministry, you don't expect me to know all the 48 ministers. You understand? But I know the serious aspect of governance. In every parastatal, like now in this media station, without cameras, you cannot work. Without cameraman, we cannot be seated here and do this interview. So we are saying the cardinal key ministers, that without them, President Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu will not function. That's why we mentioned. That's why we mentioned. Let's go back to what we mentioned.
Adamu, let's even leave that conversation and move on to more pressing issues in looking at President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Now, for many Nigerians, again, based on the statistics that we have right now, a lot of Nigerians still feel disconnected from the government, and the statement is that the government is far from the citizens, and this is not different from what our predecessors were to the Nigerian people. Now, how effective has the government been in engaging citizens and managing public concern so far? We've had more than 5 protests. Bear that in mind. By Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians at a point were crying that we had the end bad governance protest, and we've had a series of other protests that have followed suit. Now, if you want to judge the government again, how effective has the government been in engaging citizens and managing public concern? Is the government really in touch with the citizens, this administration?
Yeah, let me come back to Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu capabilities. President Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu no any other president has ever appointed SSA on community engagements. He has SSA on community engagements across Nigeria. Northeast, Northwest, North Central, Southeast, Southwest, South. Nigerians need to understand. Go back to their SSS on community engagements. If you have a problem, go back to your SSA on community engagement, which they have their offices at Federal Secretariat. In your various states, write a letter down or send your voices to them.
And you think Nigerians are not doing that?
They are not doing it. They don't know that.
So you think the Nigerians are not doing that?
Nigerians are not. It's there. You protest.
How many Nigerians are written
the way you are saying Nigerians are coming out
cost of living doesn't even listen, or the president doesn't listen to even reduce the cost of living based on statistics.
For now, you cannot say president don't listen to them. That's why he created community engagement.
We carried out a survey.
Yeah.
And based on the research, a lot of Nigerians say that the president is far from reality. That's why I asked the first question.
It's not far from reality.
Is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu recall that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was coming into office. There was something the APC government was known for, which is more of a town hall meeting. But it tends to be that when the whole electionary process ends, the town hall meetings also fizzle out. In reality, does the government have any form of connectivity without even opening offices? Does the government render some form of accountability to the people on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis? Or it is the same old tragedy?
Yeah.
Has the APC government under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu been able to manage public concerns effectively?
Yeah, he's able. Why? Because let me come back to your questions. Number one, during his campaign, he sat down with business communities every state he visit, just to hear their views and come up with.
And that views
policy.
ended after the elections.
It does not end after the election. Why? Because
when last was there? When last was there a town hall meeting?
Why? Because
I'm curious. When last was there a town hall meeting?
Because all over Nigeria, there is no single state that did not host.
You are a diehard believer of President Bola Tinubu's renewed up agenda, but when last was there?
I'm not a diehard. I'm saying
when last was there? Well, Honorable Adamu, when last was there a town hall meeting with business investors to discuss and chart a way forward for Nigeria, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu sat down to listen to business owners, entrepreneurs, and also concerned Nigerians? Or can we say that this government only comes out to speak to Nigerians when it has to do with campaign? After campaign, the government returns back to a rock without even having any form of engagement with the people? On the reality of it, can we say that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has failed Nigerians?
No, he did not fail Nigerians. Why? Because no single states did not hold investment summit, and Senator Kashim Shettima will witness it. He will come back and report back to Mr. President. And let me get back to you on issues of investment. Every day, Mr. President is busy on investment, international engagements with business entities to come and invest in Nigeria, trying to stabilize the security of Nigeria, to enable them, to give them enabling environment. Recently, there is an investment summit in Nasarawa State, and Kashim was there. So the things are true. The things we will not say, the things you cannot come out and say President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not interacting with business communities while he's doing well with business communities. Have you look, make example with Dangote. Have Dangote come out and say justice has not been done to him? Or he is not enjoying the privilege of Nigeria under Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu? He has been given enough space. He has been given enabling environment to market his goods. So we should come back. If we are talking of President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu's scorecard, to do justice to him, and Nigerians too to do justice to him, they need to be doing justice to President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu and praise him on what he is doing. Because it's not easy. The tax is not easy. He's really trying to stabilize this country.
Well, Honorable Adamu, we have right now in the country a multi-dimensional poverty. I don't know if you're aware. Well, that's the term economists and of course the World Bank choose to use to address this concern. And below that line, we have about 140 million Nigerians living below the poverty line. Now, for most, they will say that these are not just poor people. They are poor people. People that live below $1 in a day. And we have a commander-in-chief of the Federation that have serving ministers that are supposed to run the course of democratical government. Kidnapping has become the order of the day. Cost of living is getting high by the day. Unemployment is getting skyrocketed. And of course, not forgetting that Jackpot syndrome has become the order of the day, that every young Nigerian right now seek greener pasture outside the shores of Nigeria. With all this in mind, is this administration a performing administration?
You have said it all. This administration is a performing administration.
Is this administration, I'm asking a very salient question, is this administration a performing administration going by all of these indicators, I just mentioned unemployment, I mentioned the Jackpot syndrome, I mentioned insecurity, I mentioned poverty line. In looking at it from your own perspective, can you say or convince a 5-year-old child that this administration is a performing administration looking at all of these indicators?
So with all the job opportunities that have been created under this government,
perhaps you want to help us to understand those jobs. So perhaps if you talk and you say this has been created, help us to understand where it was created and how was it created. Perhaps we can have a better understanding of the workability of this government. Please help us out, Honorable.
Coming by presidential CNG, there were programs that have been held under them and have provided job opportunities. Coming back to MSME, small and medium enterprises, there are so many workshops, so many job opportunities have been created. Of recent, setting example with the wife of the president, which come out and say, with little you can start your business, and people turn it back to something else, which she is right. There are so many instances that you will see an akara seller by the roadside. She will pay her school fees for her children, and they will go for a good school, study hard, and turn off to somebody. So what we are saying is, with the introduction of SME, Mr. President has created job opportunities. Go back to our institutions. President Tinubu has done something that it has never been done in the history of Nigeria, with providing NEL fund scholarship for students to enable them have easy access to studies, which education is the backbone of any of every community. With education, you can become everything. So, and Mr. President has made it easy. You will take your phone, apply it, and you will get it without following, oh, I don't know this body, I don't know minister, I don't know this. And
but you're really on the fact that in states such as Zamfara and a few other states, they still pay bandits to go to their farms.
Yeah. That is the role of their governor. It's not developed as Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But let's even put that in perspective. You understand again that you said it is the role of the government, of the governor, but then that the control of security apparatus is under the exclusive legislative list, which automatically still revolves around the presidency.
Yeah, and Mr. President is addressing it day and night.
Responsibility of even championing that cause. If we go by all of these indicators that I've pointed out right now, more Nigerians are leaving the country. Doctors, engineers, teachers, even journalists like myself are leaving the country in search of greener pasture. I just mentioned 5 critical industries that are leaving the country. By going by this analysis, narrowing it back to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, are you saying that this government is a performing government? This administration has performed, it has outperformed its predecessors. Is that what you're saying, Honorable Adamu?
The way you are saying,
I'm just curious.
The way you are saying,
let's help Nigerians to understand
the way Nigerians are saying, some are going out of the country to look for greener pastures. Some are coming into Nigeria to contribute their own quota. Let me set example for you. Minister of Health, Nigerian Minister of Health, was working in America with Bill Gates. He was chairing Gavi Vaccine Alliance. Google it. It's one of the largest in the world. He's leading the world. But he dropped it and come back to Nigeria, and he's contributing to the health sector. And Nigerians are still not appreciating it. So what do Nigerians need? We need to be appreciating our government, put hope in them, and then they will do much better.
So when the government promises a thing and it does not deliver, Nigerians should put hope on the government.
The issue is deliverance is like, you don't create a deliverance. We undergo deliverance. Why? Because go back to example, how we can come and get FCT. But now everybody in the FCT is celebrating as Barrister Nelson Wike. You are a journalist. You know, everybody is celebrating Wike despite he is from the opposition, PDP. This is to show you. This is to show you. This is to show you. This is to show you.
Manifesto of the APC government, they promised Nigerians a lot of things, and right now Nigerians are not saying it? And a lot of Nigerians are complaining that they're not saying it. Are you saying that they are wrong to complain? They should rather support the government? Is that
They
what
are
you're
wrong in saying they are not seeing the change.
So you're saying
why?
that
Because the
Nigerians
change
are
is
wrong
there.
now?
The change is there. They are complaining on something they don't know.
What do you mean by they don't know? Let's be on the same
So
page.
if for someone to come out, for someone is staying in Bauchi, for example, for him to come out of Bauchi and travel to Abuja to experience the highway road that has been built under Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, it's a problem for him. He don't know it, and he will sit down and say Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not doing anything. While it's there. Of recent, day before yesterday, a 400-kilometer has been awarded from Kogi to Niger State, which we need to be appreciating and applauding his effort. If we are appreciating and applauding his effort, let me go back. President Muhammadu Buhari spent his 8 years as a northerner. He spent his 8 years, but we the northerners are the ones that are abusing President Buhari of him not doing anything.
So
and
you think President Tinubu was Buhari was a failure?
It's not a failure, but I'm telling you, the views of people.
No, he performed.
He has performed, and the
so
people.
President Bola Tinubu has outperformed them.
Yeah, he's performing more than what Buhari, General Muhammadu Buhari is doing. Why? Because their reforms are different. And going back to the reforms of President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, go back yesterday, he has transformed Nigerian Youth Service Corps, transforming it back to a useful entity more than the way it is before. So if he is bringing change, he is bringing a lasting change. This is what we are saying. For example, this achievement has been done under Minister of Youth. So will we say Minister of Youth is not performing? This is what I'm trying to make the point. If it comes to what you have done, we will say, hey, this minister has performed. This minister has performed. It's under the administration of this minister. So we cannot just come and sit down, outline all the 48 ministers,
so you're saying
and
that,
say, this minister has performed, this minister has not performed.
Well, you're saying that Olawande has performed. Well, that's going by the Minister of Youth.
Yeah.
Of course, Tunji Alausa also, you say that's education. You said he has performed.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to help you even look at this, looking at the various ministries that we have right now. You're saying that they have performed. Festus Keyamo, Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Technology, you're saying he has performed. And looking at the various ministers, but then again, the performance tend to be a surface performance because it has not really trickled down to the grassroots. You mentioned a typical example of Bauchi State, that people of Bauchi State, when they see road, they should be excited that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been able to perform. But then you did not mention also what type of road are we looking at? Is it the feeder roads? Is it the state-owned road or the federal government, federal roads? Because traveling down from Tafawa Balewa local government in Bauchi State down to Forest in the Plateau State, traveling down through the forest down to Akwanga, you agree with me that that road is fascinatingly great. Of course, you will agree with me. So let's be on the same page. The road is great. Do you agree with me on that?
What we are saying.
But do you agree with me on that the road is fascinating?
Let me explain.
No,
this contract was not awarded under President Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
But it has been under APC government for the last couple of years, and the government promised continuity.
APC is different,
and the government promised continuity.
Let me get you.
And right now we are in this administration. That road is very great.
We are discussing.
The Calabar-Itu road is very also fast. No, so let's get you talk. Let's talk. Get you. Yes.
We said you mentioned Tafawa Balewa,
local government down. I don't want to travel down to Gombe.
Yeah,
because from Gombe down to 9 Mile down to Maiduguri, and I don't want to mention that. Let me come. So let's just travel back to Abuja.
Yeah, let me come.
Yeah, please go ahead.
All these projects were awarded under the leadership of late President Muhammadu Buhari with his giant stride. But this project was funded under Asuwaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which if you go now, you will see they have started clearing site. And also from Akonga to Abuja has already been done. It has been dualized and it has been done. You can go by. It's not far from here. You can go and test it and see.
We've been to Akwanga.
You understand? So let me
from
come.
Akwanga to Makodi.
Yeah, Akwanga to Makodi.
We've seen those roads. But then from you've not mentioned from Akwanga to Forest.
Yeah. Have anyone?
We're talking about northeastern part, the northeastern part of the country.
I mentioned that the project has been funded. The project was awarded under President Buhari, and the project is funded under Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And they are on site now. They are on site.
Fantastic.
They are on site already. They are on site. They are on site. If you will go, they have started clearing site to start the work, hitting the ground. So if we are talking of now, have anyone once come here just to applaud the road linking Akwanga, Makodi, and then back to Abuja? To say President Asuwaju Bola
we have someone that have been here to applaud President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for some of those projects. Of course,
exactly.
He sang President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's praise when he came on the show about that road was a death trap. All right, that road is getting some form of touches. But then we're looking at the administration in its generality, not trying to tie it up to a particular segment. But we started from the ministers because this is where the big conversation is. There are a lot of ministers are not performing. They are hiding under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's mantra of renewed hope to be able to do nothing. You've said that you have ministers that are performing. I was even daring you to get the names of ministers that are performing incredibly well. Out of the 48 ministers, at least let's get names that we can even say at least 40 of the ministers are performing incredibly well. You only mentioned about just 3. And right now we are here. Trying to look around at the administration. Let's even return back to the conversation. When you look at the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, there tend to be, first, a divide when it has to do with priority. Now, for many Nigerians, they will say that the priority of Nigerians right now is to get the infrastructures which President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is already working on. Another priority is to get the economy revived. Another priority is to get Nigerians be able to compete favorably with other countries across the world by providing them enough form of tools and finance to be able to. But then when you get to the rural communities, this conversation that we are having right now, a lot of rural communities, rural dwellers watching us right now across Nigeria and across the world will tell you that these realities are far from them because they don't get to feel the pulse of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration in terms of all of those things because they are built in urban community. Help us even understand. Is the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's priorities right now a misplaced priority? By not even considering the rural communities, taking it down to the 6 geopolitical zones across the country.
Who told you that President Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not considering rural communities?
Have you traveled to Biliri?
Let me land.
Have you traveled to Katingo?
Let me land.
Have you traveled to?
Let me land.
Let's get to the rural communities.
Let me land.
Yes, please go ahead.
There are development commissions across all Nigeria now. Every zone has its commission, and for where I'm coming from, I know they are performing extremely well. Not its development commission, with going by their projects in rural communities, with local communities, going to local communities, executing their projects in local communities. I know, I have it, and I can present to you. I know they are doing well. Of just recent, they launched so many projects in Bauchi. And their projects are there. You can see them. They are visible. Nobody will deny the fact North-East Development Commission is not performing. Northwest Development Commission has just been established. Not less than 1 year. So they are doing, if we are to say, and we are going to, as we mentioned, to do justice to President Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he has put so many things in place. Let me mention 3 out of them. Mr. President established commissions, development commissions for all this, all across Nigeria, just to balance every part of the country. And you will believe, and you know, and you are seeing it. the way they are making impact. Secondly, come back to health sector. For someone that is from grassroots, they cannot come out on media and applaud it, but they are feeling the greatness in them that the Minister of Health is performing extremely well with capital infrastructures, with foreign interventions in our health sector, so many things. So to cut the story short, Mr. President has a good blueprint.
Honorable Adamu, under this administration, Nigerians have also judged the National Assembly has become the president mouthpiece. For many Nigerians, the word that was literally used is that the National Assembly has become a rubber stamp National Assembly. Invariably, it has become Tinubu's daycare center. Whatever the president says is what the National Assembly automatically aligns to. How would you judge the intergovernmental relationship between the intergovernmental relationship between the even looking at the relationship that exists between the legislature and the executive right now? Has the executive been able to subject the legislature under its armpit, whims and caprices, to the point where the legislature no longer commands any legislative authority?
Yeah, I did not agree with you on saying...
I didn't say that.
Yeah.
So let's be on the same page.
Yeah. So
I never said
if Nigerians said I did not agree with them...
You listen to Nigerians on a regular basis.
I did not
except
agree
you're
with
telling me that you've not heard Nigerians say...
I did not agree with that.
You're saying, except you're telling me that you've not heard Nigerians say that this Senate is, or this House of National Assembly members are rubber stamp, except you're telling me that you've never heard about it before.
I said I...
Have you heard about it?
I have never heard about
All
that.
right.
And also, you cannot say the Senate is a rubber stamp.
I never said.
Why? Because Nigerians cannot say it.
Yes.
Nigerians and public opinion, Nigerians cannot say that. Why? Because every Nigerians send representative who they voted for. And this House of Senate and House of Reps has different political parties, have minority and majority of different parties. How do you expect them to become a rubber stamp, the Senate president? Okay, you mean those that they voted for, that are from the opposition, cannot stand up to challenge the Senate president or challenge the Speaker of the House of Reps in supporting the policies of Mr. President, which the policies of Mr. President, every policy that is brought to the table of the Senate President or Speaker of the Senate President must be deliberated on the House, on the floor of the House. Must be deliberated. Look back to issue of state policy. It has been taken, and some of the governors were there to hear the public opinion and the views of the people. And
also the issue of economic reforms, and also national anthem. National anthem. Let's not forget
the issue of national anthem is a national thing.
No, let's not forget. I just reminded you also.
So all these things are national values, which President Asuwaju Bola Ahmed deemed to necessarily add value to Nigeria. He is here to add value to Nigeria, to make Nigeria the greatest and the giant of Africa. So if we are coming to applaud Mr. President, we cannot say Mr. President has not done this in the area of this. Point out and tell me Mr. President has not done this in this area. I will challenge you and tell you what he has done in that area. If you challenge me and say Mr. President did not do anything...
Let's not challenge you on that. Before I let you go, because I've been seeing that our time is fast spent. Again, outside the shores of Nigeria, it is being said right now that Nigeria under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has become another toothless bulldog, another crippled giant. That's the countries that cannot even stand up to the standard of Nigeria right now look down on Nigeria based on this administration. Do you agree with this statement?
No, I do not agree with you. I do not agree with this statement. Because...
Do you think Nigeria is still the giant of Africa?
Nigeria is still giant of Africa. You can see.
Or it has become a toothless bulldog?
Nigeria is still the giant of Africa. Why? Because if you look at all the African countries want to liaise with Nigeria to become something. And with the good leadership of Asuwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you can see how he has wooed so many investors that are willing to come and go back.
Including South Africa?
Including South Africa.
Including South Africa.
Including South Africa.
And they are right now sending Nigerians back home. And they have given today's the ultimatum and deadline for Nigerians to return. Otherwise,
Since
they will face
before
they will
President
face
Asuaji
lynching.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there is xenophobia. If you could remember, and Nigeria, South Africa are benefiting from Nigeria more than how Nigeria we are benefiting in South Africa. Go back to their stations, MTN, these telecommunication centers that they have here in Nigeria, which is contributing to generate revenue for them. It's just look at it back during President Muhammadu Buhari led, that they have been killing our people in South Africa.
And the government have been able to stand up to that cause.
The government has stand. Look at President Asuaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has stand for the cause. He has
Through the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
With the Minister of Foreign Affairs,
Well,
and also the Minister of Foreign Affairs has just assumed.
Let me.
It's less than a month. It's less than a month.
I wish we have more time to look at statements from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in this regard. But again, I'm basically that our time is fast spent. Well, I wish we have more time to do justice to this issue. But then it is a good time to talk about Nigeria, don't you think so? Well, it's understood. I want to say thank you so much, Honorable Adamu Muhammad Abdullahi, for finding out time to be with us here on Korero. I'll leave you to go back to the field and also sample opinions from Nigerians across the 6 geopolitical zones, and we'll invite you back again to have this conversation, if that's okay by you.
You are always welcome, because we are always here. We are always advocates for the people. Because if we don't come out and enlighten our people from most especially from the north, to understand the policies of President Asuaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we'll continue to suffer. Because there is one thing I do believe in. Means of communication is what we are lacking here in Nigeria. Look at our media stations. For now, a media station they will kill one person, and or maybe a comedian will do something outside Nigeria. They will come out publicizing it, and President Asuaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu will do something good for our people.
Again, I've been saying that our time is fast spent. Well, Honorable Abdullahi, I want to say thank you again once more for coming on the show. Well, viewers, this is how far we can go tonight on the show. Do not forget that you can leave your thoughts, you can leave your comments, you can leave your reactions on our various social media handle currently showing on your screen. And you can also download the Rapid TV app from your Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. My name is Godwin Sunday. Always remember that peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Do enjoy the rest of your night rest. Bye-bye.